What if I told you that the world's, like, goofiest, most famously friendly family pet was actually engineered as a high-performance piece of waterproof hunting equipment?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds completely absurd when you put it like that.
It really does because, we all know the classic golden retriever.
Right.
That permanent smile, the warm eyes, a tail wagging so hard it practically vibrates their entire body.
Oh yeah, the full body wag.
Exactly. We accept that image as the default setting for a happy dog. But that specific behavior, that joy, that gentleness, it's not a biological accident at all.
No, it's really not. It's actually a masterclass in selective engineering. Like when we look at that quintessential family dog, we're really looking at a highly specific biological machine,
Yeah.
one that was built to solve a very particular set of problems in a very unforgiving environment.
Right. And today we are pulling from a massive, comprehensive breed overview put together by a Canine Health Academy.
It's a fantastic resource, very detailed.
Super detailed. And our mission for this deep dive is to look right past that popular stereotype of the golden suburban angel.
Yeah.
We are going to deconstruct this animal, uncover its surprisingly rigid history, and figure out how an outdoor utility tool became one of the most popular dogs on Earth.
I love that.
So, okay, let's unpack this. Because before we can understand how a golden retriever fits so perfectly into your modern living room, we have to look at the incredibly specific job they were built for.
Yeah, you really can't separate the modern dog from its original blueprint.
Right.
And to find that blueprint, you have to go back to the Scottish Highlands in the mid-1800s,
Okay.
specifically to this sprawling estate called Gisacon, which was owned by a landowner named Dudley Marjoribanks.
Wow.
Yeah, who later became Lord Tweedmouth.
Okay, first of all, Lord Tweedmouth is just an incredible name.
It really is the most 19th century British name imaginable.
Totally. But more importantly, the man had a problem, right? Like, he was an avid hunter, and the Scottish terrain is brutal.
It was notoriously harsh.
You have these massive transitions from rugged, rocky land straight into freezing, treacherous lochs.
Exactly. And he needed a dog that could retrieve waterfowl across both of those environments without hesitation.
But the real kicker was the dog had to bring the bird back completely undamaged.
Right, and what's fascinating here is that this original purpose had absolutely nothing to do with creating a household companion.
Nothing at all.
Like, he wasn't looking for a pet to sit by the fire. He was essentially trying to fill a vacancy on his staff. He was engineering a highly specialized coworker.
I look at Lord Tweedmouth's breeding process like someone trying to engineer a highly specific piece of outdoor gear.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's like he was sitting there trying to invent a waterproof Swiss Army knife that also swims, has built-in radar, and just happens to be your best friend.
That analogy holds up perfectly, especially when you look at how he actually built the breed.
How did he do it?
Well, he started with a yellow-colored retriever, which gave him the foundational retrieving instinct. And he crossed it with a breed that is now completely extinct, actually, the Tweed Water Spaniel.
Oh, wow. So he is essentially splicing the retrieving drive of one dog with the aquatic survival skills of another.
Exactly. And he didn't stop there. Over several decades, he meticulously added in other breeds.
Like what?
A little bit of Irish setter to enhance the scenting ability and, add that golden color. Maybe some bloodhound for tracking endurance.
It's like a recipe.
It really was. He was fine-tuning a living recipe. And the non-negotiable trait he was hunting for was something called a soft mouth.
Right, which sounds like a cute trait, like, oh, a soft mouth.
Yeah, it does.
But the Canine Health Academy sources explain this is actually a deeply ingrained neurological reflex.
Absolutely.
Soft mouth is bite inhibition. It means the dog has the genetic predisposition and the jaw control to hold a game bird in its mouth without crushing it or bruising the meat or even damaging a feather.
Which is incredible when you think about it.
They basically had to suppress their own predatory instinct to chew.
It requires immense impulse control. So combine that soft mouth with a dog that is an incredibly powerful swimmer, and you have the physical foundation.
Right.
But physical traits weren't enough. Lord Tweedmouth needed high trainability, so the dog would instantly obey whistle commands from hundreds of yards away, right in the chaotic heat of a hunt.
And that transition from, like, Scottish hunting equipment to coworker, that completely hardwired the golden retriever's modern brain.
Oh, absolutely.
Because when you look at working dogs, there is a massive divide in how their intelligence actually functions, right?
Yeah, there's a vital distinction between independent intelligence and cooperative intelligence.
Okay, break that down for us.
So, Take a herding breed, like an Australian Shepherd. They were bred to manage a flock of sheep largely on their own.
Right.
A shepherd gives a whistle, but the dog is the one making the split-second, independent decisions on how to move those animals. They're autonomous problem solvers.
But the golden retriever is wired in the exact opposite way.
Entirely the opposite. They possess cooperative working intelligence.
Meaning they need us.
Right. When a hunter shoots a bird over a lake, the dog often can't see where it landed. They have to rely entirely on the human handler to direct them.
Like hand signals and stuff.
Exactly. Swim left, swim right, go further back. The dog has to constantly check in. Their brain is literally asking, what do we do next, boss?
Which totally explains their intelligence rankings today. Our sources point out that golden retrievers consistently rank in the top tier of all dog breeds for working and obedience intelligence.
Yeah, they learn commands remarkably fast.
Because they want to.
Right, and they learn fast because they get a literal neurological reward from it. When a golden retriever completes a task alongside a human, their brain releases dopamine.
Oh, wow.
It's why they dominate in fields like search and rescue or as service and therapy dogs. They aren't just capable of learning the tasks, they are biologically driven to partner with a human to get that task done.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second here.
Go for it.
If you are listening to this and maybe you're thinking about getting a dog, you hear, oh, this dog is a genius and learns really fast.
Right.
Doesn't that logically mean they should be easier to manage? Like, if they have this huge brain, can't they just entertain themselves while I work from home? Put on a doggy puzzle and leave me alone for a few hours?
Oh, man. That is the exact trap that catches first-time owners totally off guard.
Really?
Yeah. You are confusing adaptive intelligence with working intelligence. A smart working brain is a restless brain.
Ah.
That dopamine loop we just talked about, if you don't provide a constructive way to trigger it, like training, fetching, or puzzle solving, that big brain gets bored.
And a bored dog.
A bored dog with a strong retrieving instinct will simply invent their own job.
Which usually involves remodeling your drywall or dismantling your couch cushions?
Exactly. They will find a way to work. Their famous eager-to-please personality isn't just them being sweet. It's a demanding genetic drive.
Right.
And if you ignore that drive, you are starving the core of who the dog is, which leads directly to severe behavioral issues.
Which brings us perfectly from the history books right into the modern living room.
Yeah, it's a huge transition.
Because they have this incredibly active working brain wrapped in a sporting body, we have to look at how that translates to a suburban lifestyle. I mean, most of us are not trudging through Scottish bogs at 5 in the morning.
Speak for yourself. But no, the Canine Health Academy makes this abundantly clear. This is an active, high-energy sporting breed.
Okay.
They were literally built to endure hours of outdoor labor. So a quick 5-minute walk around the block so they can pee before you leave for work is entirely insufficient.
Yeah, they're definitely not for someone wanting a low-maintenance couch potato pet.
If your ideal weekend is binge-watching television and never leaving the house, you will be miserable, and the dog will be miserable.
But the flip side is, if you do meet those exercise requirements, they possess an amazing internal switch.
They really do.
Once they have burned off that physical and mental energy, they settle down indoors with this incredible calmness.
Yes.
And that duality is why they are widely regarded as one of the best family breeds in existence, particularly with children.
Well, here's where it gets really interesting, though. When you look at how gentle they are with children, our sources point right back to that Scottish hunting requirement.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we talked about the soft mouth, that bite inhibition.
Yes, the need to carry a dead bird without bruising it.
Right. That purely physical trait, bred into them in the 1850s, is the exact mechanical reason a golden retriever can so gently take a delicate toy out of a toddler's hand without snapping or crushing it.
That is wild.
Isn't it? The physical gentleness you see in a modern family room is a direct inheritance from a 170-year-old hunting spec.
That is, I mean, that's just incredible. But we also have to insert a crucial caveat from the source material here.
Definitely.
No matter how legendary their genetic patience is, you cannot just drop a golden puppy into a house with a toddler and expect magic.
No, absolutely not. Even the gentlest breed requires rigorous early socialization.
And what does that actually look like?
Well, early socialization is critically misunderstood. It isn't just about teaching them to be nice.
Right.
It's about exposing their developing nervous system to a wide variety of novel stimuli. Weird sounds, new surfaces, erratic movements of children.
So they don't freak out later?
Exactly, so that their brain doesn't develop fear-based reactivity later in life. And equally important, children must be taught how to interact respectfully.
Yeah, a dog is a living creature with boundaries, not a stuffed animal.
Exactly. Establishing those boundaries prevents accidents and stress for everyone.
So, okay, since we know they love their family and want to cooperate, how does that sociability translate to the outside world? Like, say you are sitting at home and a stranger aggressively approaches your front door. Can you rely on your golden retriever to keep you safe?
You absolutely cannot.
Not at all.
If you are looking for home security, you are looking at the wrong breed. Golden retrievers are notoriously terrible watchdogs.
It's basically a running joke that if a burglar broke into a house with a golden retriever, the dog wouldn't just fail to stop them. The dog would probably offer to carry the flashlight and show them where the jewelry is kept.
Yeah, they would just be absolutely thrilled to have a new friend participating in a fun late-night activity.
Right.
But according to the Academy data, this total lack of a guarding instinct is completely by design.
Oh, really? Because I would assume guarding requires a certain level of suspicion.
Exactly. True guarding behavior requires a natural wariness of the unknown. A guard dog has to view novel situations as potential threats. But Lord Tweedmouth systematically bred that wariness out of the golden retriever.
Because suspicion is a liability on a hunt.
Think about it. You are out in a chaotic environment. Guns are going off, strange dogs are running around, horses might be
Or
present.
super loud.
Right. A dog that startles easily or gets defensive around new people or animals is a dangerous distraction. Lord Tweedmouth needed a dog that was totally bomb-proof.
So by selecting for that,
By selectively removing the startle reflex and the suspicion of strangers, you are left with a dog that automatically assumes every human and every animal is a friend they just haven't met yet.
which explains why our sources note they are highly sociable with other dogs. And, if introduced properly during that early socialization window, they coexist perfectly fine with cats and other household pets.
Yeah, they just want the pack to be harmonious.
Since they greet everyone like a friend, they obviously can't rely on aggression for defense. So what protects them in those harsh environments?
That brings us to their physical engineering.
So what does this all mean when we look at the physical specs? Let's talk about the vessel housing all this joyful energy. Sizing them up, they are a medium to large breed.
Yep.
Males typically stand 23 to 24 inches at the shoulder. Females slightly smaller at 21 to 22 inches. And the build is critical. They are described as solid, sturdy, and athletic. They are never supposed to be bulky.
Right, extra bulk would be detrimental.
Why is that?
Well, a sporting dog meant to swim against freezing currents and run through heavy brush needs stamina. Heavy, bulky muscles consume too much oxygen and tire the dog out too quickly. They need an endurance runner's build.
That makes a lot of sense. And then there is the coat, the feature that literally gives the golden retriever its name.
Oh, the coat.
They possess a very dense, water-repellent double coat. I've just thought of it as a built-in wetsuit.
Actually, it's the exact opposite of a wetsuit.
Wait, how so?
A wetsuit functions by letting a thin layer of water in, which your body heat then warms up to keep you insulated.
Right.
A Golden's double coat is designed so the icy water never touches the skin in the first place.
Oh, that makes much more sense.
Yeah, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the double coat works in two distinct layers. The undercoat is thick, sauced, and woolly. Its sole job is thermal insulation, trapping the dog's body heat.
Okay, and the outer layer.
Then you have the outer coat, the longer straight or weighty hairs. That outer coat has specialized sebaceous glands that secrete natural oils, making the fur actively hydrophobic.
Wow. So when the dog jumps into a Scottish loch, the icy water literally beads up and slides off the outer coat, while the undercoat keeps the skin completely dry and warm.
But wait, if the undercoat is doing all the heavy lifting for insulation, does that mean the outer coat is basically just acting as a raincoat?
Essentially, yes. It's a protective shell against water, thorns, and brush.
But, as our sources point out, modern owners pay a hefty tax for that Scottish survival tool in the form of endless vacuuming.
Oh yeah, that undercoat is notorious. And what many people don't realize is that shedding isn't solely dictated by temperature, it's heavily influenced by photoperiods.
Photoperiods, like changes in the amount of daylight.
Exactly.
Which means if you keep them indoors with artificial lights on all evening, you are totally messing with their natural shedding cycle.
It completely disrupts it. That is why modern indoor owners often feel like their golden is shedding heavily 12 months a year rather than just blowing their coat twice a year during seasonal shifts.
Right. So regular brushing isn't just cosmetic, it's a mandatory maintenance cost to remove dead undercoat so the skin can breathe.
And speaking of maintenance, they have an average lifespan of about 10 to 12 years. But because you have this thick-coated, hydrophobic dog running through muddy brush and swimming in lakes, keeping them healthy is a massive chore.
Oh, absolutely.
The Canine Health Academy sources actually recommend a specific organizational tool called Vital Pet to manage this.
It's a very practical suggestion.
Yeah, they are careful to note that it absolutely does not replace a licensed veterinarian. You still need a medical professional for your dog.
Of course.
But they suggest using Vital Pet to track vet visits, vaccinations, and preventive care history. When you have a dog built for this kind of active, messy lifestyle, tracking their tick preventatives, waterborne illness vaccines, and skin health just becomes a massive administrative task.
It really does. Tracking preventative care for a high-performance sporting dog is just responsible ownership, and having a dedicated tool stops things from slipping through the cracks.
So, bringing this all together, we have traveled from the freezing, rugged terrain of a 19th century Scottish hunting estate straight into the modern suburban living room.
Quite the journey.
We've unpacked their genetics, their working intelligence, the mechanics of their shedding, and their absolute lack of a guarding instinct. When you look at all these sources comprehensively, the golden thread running through every single trait is connection.
Yeah, connection is their entire biological identity.
From the very first blueprint, this dog was not meant to exist in isolation. It wasn't built to guard a perimeter alone or herd sheep autonomously over a distant hill or just sit quietly on a velvet pillow looking pretty.
Wow.
It was engineered from the ground up to work closely with people.
Which serves as the ultimate litmus test for anyone listening.
How so?
Well, you have to evaluate your own lifestyle with brutal honesty. Do you want an independent pet that just happens to share your living space? Or do you actually have the time, the physical energy, and the vacuum bags to partner with a creature that literally thrives on connection?
That's a huge distinction.
Because if you don't have the time to be their coworker, you are going to end up with a highly frustrated genius dismantling your house.
It is a massive commitment of time and energy. But, for millions of families around the world, it is a partnership that obviously pays off in ways you can't even quantify.
It absolutely does. But, reviewing these Academy sources left me with one final, incredibly profound thought that we haven't even touched on yet.
Oh, was that?
Think about the pure mechanical utility Lord Tweedmouth was chasing. He wanted a soft mouth purely so a dead duck wouldn't get bruised before it hit the dinner table.
Right, it was just a practical tool for retrieving meat.
Exactly. But in relentlessly breeding for that extreme physical gentleness and combining it with that intense desire to tune into a human's every cue, humanity accidentally engineered something much deeper.
Wow.
We accidentally engineered a profound psychological empathy. By trying to build a softer, better hunting tool, we unwittingly mass-produced the exact emotional gentleness that makes golden retrievers the most perfect therapy and emotional support dogs in hospitals today.
That is.
We aimed for physical utility, and we accidentally achieved pure emotional empathy.
That is absolutely incredible to think that a physical trait mapped so perfectly onto an emotional capacity.
It makes you wonder how modern selective breeding, which, often prioritizes how a dog looks rather than what it was built to do, might slowly be unwriting Lord Tweedmouth's original brilliant behavioral blueprint.
Right, like if we breed them just for show.
If we stop breeding for the cooperative worker, do we eventually lose the empathy too?
Wow, that is a fascinating thought to chew on. The next time you see that goofy face, that dog with the permanent smile and the tail shaking his whole body, you will know exactly how much history, intention, and accidental genius went into creating it. Thank you for exploring the true nature of the Golden Retriever with us. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.